Hey guys, how's it going? It's Daniels here. Welcome to episode number 8 of this NHL 23 Draft to Glory franchise mode here in Atlanta on my channel with the Atlanta Gladiators. If you guys have missed episodes up to this point, head up into that top corner. If you do enjoy this one, show your support down below with a like, subscription, and notification. And of course, leave comments. But today we get into the 2028-29 offseason, where we've got a decent looking draft lined up. We aren't picking particularly high. We're picking at what I believe is 13th. Not a bad spot to be. I'm really hoping we could land a guy like Magnus Soderstrom. He would be a beast of a pick to pick up. But if that's not the case, maybe we get Bolesky, maybe we get Smaby, maybe we get somebody along those lines. And then, of course, there are tons of other picks here that we have lined up that we will likely end up picking. So, should be an interesting draft here for sure. I'm hoping we get a couple really decent players. I mean, we should. And hopefully those guys can turn into steals. So, let's simulate ahead, see how the lottery goes. And yes, we will indeed be picking 13th. And all right, should be an interesting draft here for sure. All right, so Chicago moves from 1 to 10. That's crazy. Boston picks second after being in 5th place. Seattle down to 3rd. All right, that's an interesting one. So as we look at retiring players here this year, we're going to see John Tavares, Jakub Voracek, Mika Zibanejad. Wow, Zibanejad could have kept playing for sure. Taylor Hall, Matt Zuccarello, quite a few big name players there calling it quits. And yeah, that's a pretty solid retiree class. As far as goalies go, Lehner, Kemper, Bernier, Mrazek, very good goalies there. Defensively, there are definitely some amazing players in there too. So there is your retiree classes. Did we lose anybody? Yes, indeed, we lose Zach Aston Reese. And that is it for our retiree class. All right, not too shabby this year. All right, so as we head into this draft, I really don't think we're going to see too many off the board or crazy picks really this year, but we don't need to add a lot to this team to make them really good at this point now. We've got Nightingale locked in for the next 8-9 years, and he's hit 90 overall now, so we could totally go in, add those extra X factors to him. I honestly kind of would want to add like elite edges or something. He's got a lot of shooting categories or shooting statistics, but his speed and acceleration, so like wheels and agility for sure, are really, really big ones there. But his passing's good, his puck control's good. Like, we got options for what we could do with Nightingale, because yes, he rips the puck, but like not that often, not compared to his passing. So if we gave him like tape to tape as well, or third eye or something along those lines, I think that would also help. So yeah, let's go in and add those to Nightingale, because I think that would really benefit him as a player. Because yeah, I don't know if he's going to stay at 90 necessarily either. That's the other thing, is sometimes these guys don't actually stay at 90 overall. So yeah, let's go and edit him quickly. All right, so the other things we're going to add on Nightingale here are mainly going to be skating, I think. We're going to add wheels. And we are going to add, maybe not elite edges. Maybe we will go, let's go tape to tape. Why not? He's a very offensively minded defenseman, but that is exactly what we drafted him for. All right, so as we get into this 2029 NHL Entry Draft, let's see who we can pick up. And we are picking at pick 13. And yeah, we'll see what happens. I mean, hopefully we can land some decent players here with these 13th overall picks in each round. But starting things off, Grant Severson's going to go first. Second's going to be, but wait, hold on. I thought Boston. Oh, okay. All right. Pittsburgh just pulled an absolute beautiful move. 3rd round pick in Bratt in exchange for the 2nd overall pick. That's so smart on Pittsburgh's move. So they get Buffet 2nd overall. 3rd is Roche, however you say his name. Woodworth goes 4th. Oh, he looks like is he small though? Yeah, 5'9". I was going to say he looks like a beast though. And then Yaskin goes 5th. So no upsets in the top 5, but man, do those look like some good players. And Pittsburgh gets 2 picks. That's insane. All right, so over to pick 13 here. And are we, Soderstrom isn't going to make it out of the top 10 even. Ouch. Okay, so that one sucks a little bit, but I do believe there are still some decent players on the board here. Yes, indeed. All right. Funny enough, there's another Lavely in here, but I think we have to go with Jamal Smaby here, or Smaby. I'm going to say Smaby. It's kind of like maybe, but not quite. So yeah, Jamal Smaby, defensive defenseman, looks fairly decent, and if he's a 1-year ETA, he should be in the league within no time, essentially. So 74 overall. Okay, he's got quick pick and in reverse. Very solid skating category, all 82s across the board there. And yeah, keep an eye on Smaby. He looks like a pretty solid right-hand D-man that we could put on our third pairing. Bermanis is bigger, sure, but he's left-handed. So yeah, let's head over to pick 46 here now. And all right, who are we going with? Looks like, yeah, Landvig, Lindbergh, Tuola, Lundstrom, pretty much all the guys that we were looking at in the second round all get picked earlier than they were probably supposed to, but that's okay because they are really good players. So after that, yeah, Hebert got picked too. That's too bad. All right, who are we taking here now? Ooh, you know, Cashman looks interesting. I know I didn't scout him very much, but I feel like at 46, he's got to be like a top 6 forward. I mean, the 3-year ETA is the only thing that's kind of throwing me off here, but we could go with an elite goalie and pull out. Do we need another elite goalie? Let's just look here. Like, look at how many trades, or not trades, look at how many goalies we've already got. Do we really need another elite goalie? I don't think so. We've got 4. And then we've got 3 starters as well. Yeah, okay, no, we're not going for the goalie. We've got enough of those. So, all right, let's go with, what do we have? Hold on, what do we need? Centers probably wouldn't hurt, and right wingers probably wouldn't hurt. So, screw it. You know what? Cashman's right in between. Let's take him. Terry Cashman. All right, and he's 65. Not bad. 65 overall, 2-way forward. Very well-balanced player, but again, he's going to take some time to develop for sure as a second rounder. So, all right, over to pick 79. We're not going to trade it, obviously. That would make no sense. And let's see, does anybody decent get picked in here? After Cashman, okay, Leroy would have been really nice. Conley would have been pretty nice. Wallace as well, even McGillis. Yeah, okay, so there were some decent players still there. We didn't exactly miss, but Pouliot obviously going to the Rangers is going to make a difference there. Ooh, and Vitaly Zubov as well. I mean, we didn't need goalies, obviously, so I'm not exactly upset in missing those guys, but good players for sure. All right, so into the third round, and there's, well, I guess we could have gone with Matthias Lehner, but I'm not going to miss another elite center here. We're going to go with Dwight Greer. Sure, he's undersized. Sure, he needs some more time in junior, but the WHL is the place to develop players for sure. So we will keep Dwight Greer in the dub for at least another 2 seasons probably. And he wasn't bad, you know. How many points do you have? Oh, never mind. He was kind of bad. 0 points in 34 games. So yeah, hopefully he'll improve over the next year. But over to pick 112 now. Let's see how good Lehner actually was. I know he was top 6, but that's about it. Was he better than Greer? Probably not, unless he was like 10 overall higher or something like that. No, he was only 3 overall, 4 overall higher. So, all right, sure. Don't get me wrong. Matthias Lehner should be a decent steal for the Capitals heading into the future, but like, we just have so many options here still. So, the next pick could be Walker or it could be Ortiz, but the only thing I have with Ortiz is he's only 6 feet tall versus this Alblin guy is 6'3". So a later round goalie, like a 4th, 5th round goalie here, I don't mind. It's just taking a goalie in the second round. We didn't need again. I'd rather take better forwards. So let's go with Ludwig Alblin. And he's 47 rated again. All right, so we get 2 47 overall rated players, but those aren't bad players. Those are genuinely solid potential players. And okay, Ortiz was 48 rated, so barely off, but not much. And anybody else? Is there anybody else that was actually good? Okay, low elite, yeah, Walker, I guess that makes sense. Alright, next up at 154, I think I'm just going to go off this list we've got here because there's so many good players on it. So, let's go with Kahun for our next pick, another center. Again, centers aren't going to hurt. You can play them on the wing if you need to, but then they can take face-offs. So, yes, alright, low elite sniper, 49 rated. Again, he's a little bit higher rated, but good potential again. So, yeah, we will take that for sure all day, every day. And anybody else good in here? All right, Fournier wasn't too bad. Clemenson was like a top 6 forward, so not bad. Or top 9 forward. And after that, anybody else? Nope, doesn't look like it. All right, into round 6 now. And at round 6, we are going to go with Yuri Shishkinov. Kind of sounds like shish kebab, actually, now that I say it out loud. And he's also 49 rated, another low elite again. Who knows which one of these guys is actually going to turn into an NHL stud, but I'm sure at least 1 or 2 of them will. So I'm really quite happy with how this draft has gone. We've gotten a ton of good prospects. And I mean, we knew it was going to be a good one when you guys saw the scouting last episode based on how things went. Ludeman, not bad there for Toronto. And Schroeder as well. All right, Cohen Schroeder, not a bad 6th round pick, pretty much a 7th. So for the last pick of the draft, see, we could go with 2 different guys here. We could go with Tommy Letivari, who's a little bit further back in the draft, low elite 2-way defenseman, 6'3", 200. Austin Klein, a little bit earlier, also a 2-way defenseman, low elite left-handed, 6'3", 187, like a little bit lighter. But I honestly think, based on, I mean, both of them are fairly similar on scheme fit. I'm taking the risk on Klein not being a shoot and pinch and being a pinch or like a cycle and pinch defenseman. That is what we're taking the risk on here. Plus, I'm betting on Klein playing more, developing better, and just overall doing better than Letivari in Liga. So we're going to take Klein instead in the West. So that's our final pick of the draft. He's 48 rated. Don't get me wrong, I'm sure Letivari is still pretty solid too. I want to sim ahead and see how good he turns out to be, because he's at pick, 225, so he'll go right at the end of the draft probably. But you know what? I'm extremely happy with how this draft went. Like, it was really good. All right. Oh, look at that. Radek Hurtle as well. Another decent player there. Is Letivari going to get picked here? Yes, he is. All right. 49 overall. So 1 overall better, but honestly, I don't think he's going to develop as well. So that's why we went with Austin Klein. But there you have it. That is your 2029 NHL Entry Draft. A very solid one still from the Atlanta Gladiators. Despite the fact that we weren't picking particularly high this year, this is actually, looking back at every draft we've had, this was the lowest we have picked so far. So before that, 3rd, 5th place, like the 5th best odds are the worst that we've picked. So yeah, the team is starting to move up slowly. And I think it's actually a lot closer than you guys might realize to being a contender of a team here. So 1 or 2 more off seasons, that's what I keep saying. But man, 1 or 2 more off seasons, and I really do think that this team is going to have a genuine shot at a Stanley Cup. So as we simulate ahead to the re-sign phase here, we got a ton of scouts we got to deal with, so let's get that done. And okay, all right, so this year we got a couple decent players expiring for the upcoming year. If we look just a little bit further ahead, Stromberg's expiring. Anybody else that's really good? Stromberg, Strome, Zykov. All right, so those are 2 bigger names as well. Okay, not bad, not great, but not bad. Then of course there are some just better potential players in here too that we should get signed up, but as of right now, we're not going to make too hasty a move on anybody here. The potential is all there. It's just actually turning this team into a serious contender now. All right, so let's start going based on overall here. Honestly, I think the team could potentially benefit more from certain guys like Lizotte not playing, potentially, if that makes sense. But, you know, we are going to keep him around still. We're offering a ton of one-year contracts here. Nikolai Knyzhov, I think, is out of the team here now, though, for sure. We're not going to hold on to him any longer, even though he is a very good defenseman. Apart from that, I think we are going to start shortlisting the AHL too. I don't think there's going to be too many spots left. Excuse me. All right, so with that in mind, we've got Smaby, we've got Locke, we've got anybody else signing in here? Butler, for sure, so that's 3. Plekhanov is 4, or Plekhanov, however you say his name. So yeah, I think we will be buying out Ross Wilson. Alright, so yeah, let's release Wilson for sure. We're going to offer Plekhanov a contract because he's just better than Wilson, if that makes sense. Butler as well is also going to get a deal. We'll sign Blair up to a 1-year deal. Kavanaugh probably could benefit this year after the last year he had. He could definitely benefit from some AHL playtime. I think we are going to release Connor Powell this year at just 70 overall at 24. Doesn't make sense to hold on to him. Same thing with Frederick Lindback here. He's been good. Don't get me wrong. He had a decent AHL career. 56 points 1 year was insane. But that's about as far as he's going to go in his career here with our team. We're starting to narrow down the team a little bit more here. Kiefer Sherwood at 73 overall at 34. We're going to buy out. We don't need him anymore. Burmistrov is definitely getting a contract. Jeffrey Locke is hopefully going to develop into a full-time NHLer. Apart from that, Jamal Smaby will be signed for sure. Ronald Walsh, Brian Kalanos, all those guys will get contracts for sure. They are good enough players to still play in the AHL, so that's why we're bringing them back. And then apart from that, we're just going to hold off on a bunch of these guys for now. Mason Marchment might be out of the team too this year. But yeah, we're just going to wait for a minute and see what happens here with the rest of the team. Because, Karpovtsev's getting paid big. If Ninamaki makes a jump like I'm expecting him to, then we're going to have another good goalie on our hands there. And we might have to actually buy out somebody. I don't know who yet. But what we are going to do for sure is we are going to buy out Gordon Ellis, I think. Just because he hasn't played since we signed him. So we'll buy him out. No need to keep him around. We'll sign Blomqvist up to 1 more year at $1 million. We'll sign Corvo for sure. So then that's 5 goalies. I don't know if we actually have more than 5 goalie slots here. So we'll try to get Esteban Lizak. If that's not doable, then we release him, whatever. But I think Blomqvist is probably the next goalie to go, despite being a second-round pick on this team. So let's advance a day. We still are going to make more signings, but we get Locke, Corvo, Kalanos, Salo, Blomqvist, Laxo, Lizik, Burmistrov, Blair, Walsh, Butler, Plekhanov, Smaby, and alright, I think that was just about everybody actually. As far as the entire team goes here, all the guys left to sign are all AHL guys apart from these top 4 or so. So yeah, let's offer these guys some nice big 1-year contracts. Let's go 5.5 for Lizotte. Vatrano, we can go 3. Dylan Coughlin, we can go 6. Alex Iafallo, we can go 1.5. Knyzhov and Marchment probably aren't going to sign. Stetcher, 1.7 for next year. Goudreau, 1.7, and McEwen. Oh, I totally missed somebody there. McEwen, and of course Kahun as well. Both $1 million each per year. All right, so that should be everybody as long as everybody re-signs with our team. I think we are actually going to make the playoffs this upcoming year, and that'll be really good for our team's morale. So, all right, Coughlin didn't sign, but everybody else did. Go figure. Dylan Coughlin. Just gotta take more money, of course. All right, that's, you know what, that's fine. We'll pay him like 7 for the next season, and then after that, our contracts are essentially all going to be dispersed properly among our team at that point, because Stromberg will be getting a deal. Henriksen will have to wait on a little bit, which is a little dicey, but that should be okay. And all right, who do we have for unsigned guys still? Kavanaugh for sure will be playing in the AHL this upcoming year. And I think I am going to sign Devin Wilcox too. I don't know if he's actually going to sign or if he's going to go back to Charlottetown for 1 more year, but regardless, he's still 66, almost 67 overall as a 20-year-old, so yeah, we should sign him. And I forgot about Andy Skewen too. We definitely need to get him some play time, so we'll do that. All right. So that should be good now for our roster. We get Coughlin, and all right, everybody else perfectly. That is good. So let's head to, I guess, free agency, and then most likely just the next season. So here's the team for the upcoming season. It's a bit of a wild looking one, but at the same time, I really do think these guys have it in them to make the playoffs this year. So first line, Stromberg, Misa, Michkov, Kidd, Hage, and Vorobyev on the second. We've got Zykov on the wing just because he only has 74 faceoffs, so it's not very good, and we're only rolling 3 lines, so that's going to help with his development as far as getting extra minutes from last season, because 18 points and just 8 minutes of ice time a game, not very good, but hopefully that will help him significantly. We can try actually throwing him at center and seeing if that helps. Dominik Watson makes the NHL as a 5th round pick this year, so that's pretty impressive. We'll introduce you guys to him right away. And yeah, apart from that, then Vatrano, Iafallo, and McEwen on the 4th line. And for defense, we're running the exact same pairings as last year. Hopefully we'll see a little bit more development from Marcus Henriksen. He is just 19, so he's doing just fine still, and he's up to 6 feet tall now in height, which is really good because, size does help out on the defensive end, no doubt about it. So yeah, Ville Kontonen, actually one of our smaller defensemen, apart from, of course, 5'10" Philip Sekras, but overall our defense isn't particularly small. In goal, Karpatsev and Niittymaki will be the tandem this year. We gotta give Karpatsev like 2 more X factors because he's 87 rated now, which is awesome. And yeah, that is the team. As far as power plays and stuff go, feel free to pause, but this is what we are rolling with here. Tried to maximize the chemistry as much as possible, so the +2, like, I've literally run almost every option on that, and that's the best we can get. So yeah, the PK actually looks really good, really solid for the most part, and no negatives, which is always a good thing on the PK. Extra lines, I've tried my best to implement our best players into these lineups and really just help out with player development and our team just becoming consistent in the long term. So yeah, there you have it for our team this year. Extra attackers, I explained that a couple episodes ago as to why those guys are playing there and why it's not like Michkov or somebody else, is because, Vorobyev isn't on the same line as Misa. So yeah, there's your shootout lineup, and there are your scratch players. So as far as the AHL goes now, a little bit less of a crazy lineup, but Jeffrey Locke looks amazing as a 20-year-old. Oren Strome, I didn't realize until now, has a 5-star skating category. He is ridiculously fast and can shoot the puck really hard too, which is strange, but I guess it works. The rest of the lineup, I'm playing in this formation to try and just maximize growth on players like Brennan Pete and Hudson Kavanaugh and guys like that. That's what we're trying to do here with this lineup, so hopefully we will see that come to fruition. As far as the AHL goes, the lineup isn't exactly best fit, as we have a lot of pinch and shoot defensemen rather than pinch and cycle. But that's okay, we'll make it work. And as far as goalies go, we got Blomqvist and Craig Corvo in net this year. So yeah, that is that. I really haven't touched special teams here. They should be all right, as the best players are going to get the most play time, but the chemistry is off because there's a lot of two-way forwards and just depth players that are what would be NHL depth players in the system here for prospects at this point. We kind of have our top 6 all determined and laid out. It's ready to go. So yeah, this is what we're rolling with. And again, feel free to pause. It's nothing super crazy or anything, but really it does look like a solid team down here again in Birmingham this year. So guys, here we have Dominic Watson, going to be a bit of an interesting player here, as he's going to be a really good sniper, hopefully, in the future. He does wear number 20, not 25, and I did have to go change just his behaviors, but yeah, he should be a really solid player here into the near future. Alright guys, so on Nikita Karpovtsev here this year, I decided to add Dialed In and Sponge, because great rebound control. He does have really good rebound control, and boost saves when on a roll for Dialed In. Yes, his stats kind of describe that, as far as his angles are really good, his recovery, his rebound control, his agility, endurance, speed, vision, all those things are really good. So yeah, that is Karpovtsev. He's going to be our goalie for a long time here, and I'm happy to have him on the team for sure. He turned out to be a great pick at 38 overall in 2024. So I just got to get some scouting done on this upcoming draft class. I have no idea how this draft class is going to go, if our team is going to be near the top, near the bottom, what exactly is going to happen, but we'll sim through the regular season. I'll show you guys the team ratings, and then we'll see how the 2029-30 season goes. Alright guys, so this season the Atlanta Gladiators missed the playoffs yet again, going 38, 36, and 8. Michael Misa leads the team with 96 points, and we finished 22nd in the league, so not bad, but not great either. Matvei Michkov puts up an 86-point season, his third best in his career so far. So not bad from him, but again, I would have liked to have seen a little bit more. Same thing with Misa, third best performance in his NHL career so far. It was, like a third best year. We didn't quite do as well, but Erik Nightingale had a great year, putting up 74 points, 14-point improvement from last season, and 15 goals sets a new career high for him there as well, so that's pretty impressive. Apart from that, the rest of the team kind of underperformed for the most part. Zykov was one of the few guys that actually made a jump this year. Billy Kontonen put up the exact same stat line as last year, so, pretty average kind of. He's very even keel as a defenseman. Henriksen improved by 4 points, but his plus-minus decreased and his penalty minutes went up, so, a bit of a strange combination there for sure. And yeah, 148 penalty minutes from Henriksen and 138 from Vorobyov are both quite impressive stat lines as far as penalty minutes go. Karpovtsev 125, Niittymaki 113, and our only rookie here in Dominic Watson scored 32 goals. So that was our team here in Atlanta this year. Leon Draisaitl led the league with 43 goals, 74 assists for 117 points. Your biggest goal scorer was Khalil Osborne, scoring 66 goals this year. He's turned into an absolute beast. And I'm wondering who had the most penalty minutes. It was Henriksen and Vorobyov leading the league, so that probably isn't helping our team necessarily. It's probably hurting our team out of anything. But for goalies this year, Hunter Jones with the Oilers would win the most games. Jaden Vitale would be right behind him with 43 wins. As far as D-men go, Nightingale would finish top 3 in the league with his 74 points, but Evan Bouchard would score 92 points and 25 goals. So very impressive there from him this year. The AHL, we would also see Sami Salo score 88 points for our team in Birmingham. He was the best player, and they went 56, 19, and 7 for a first place finish, so that is absolutely impressive, but really that's not what we're focusing on here, as this is really an NHL series, and the Gladiators have yet to actually perform well up to this point. So looking at the upcoming draft here, and there are a couple guys we're scouting. I thought we were going to finish a little lower than we did, so we're now looking at a guy like Saul DeVries to potentially draft, but overall there are quite a few really good players in this draft class that we should be able to hopefully get our hands on, and we'll see what happens. But yeah, as you can see, quite a few guys there that we are likely going to draft. I'm really interested in this Turnka guy, or however you say his name. I think it's Radek Turnka. So yeah, keep an eye on him. He might turn out to be a decent defenseman, but overall, yeah, not a terrible season, but again, we just missed the playoffs by 5-6 points. It really wasn't much, but it was just enough that it is going to negatively affect our team's growth and everything like that. So I'm just going to get a little more scouting done here. We'll see how the playoffs go and the AHL playoffs and everything, and hopefully things go well. So guys, this season the Toronto Maple Leafs and the Coachella Valley Firebirds are going to be your two champions. And taking a look at our progress reports here before we actually jump into the awards and everything. Not a bad season. We've got a very solid top end of this team. It's literally just building out the depth that is the biggest struggle right now, I think, for us, because we just haven't really been able to get the depth players that actually fill the roles properly and contribute to the team. That's what we've been struggling with here, in my opinion. So as long as we can have guys continue to grow, if we can have guys like, Andy Skewen and such get into the NHL and get some good minutes and really make an impact and, actually become plus players and stuff like that, that'll really help. Look at Kalle Ahonen, up to a 69 overall, Cashman up to a 68, Kondratiev, Aguazin as well, both. Oh my god, look at these stat lines. Oh, how did I not notice Matteo Aguazin score 156 points last year? That is absurd. Like, that never happens. Oh my god. Yeah, okay, Aguazin should be a really good player, but, like, he just hasn't developed properly, which is too bad, because he's scored like crazy. Wow, okay, so there you have the rest of the scouting reports. Overall, decent growth from the team. It's really just a matter of are any of these guys actually going to make the NHL at this point. That's really all we're banking on here and waiting to see. But overall, we do have a good team in place. We just need to actually win in the upcoming season. That's literally it. So yeah, not bad there as far as that stance goes. Looking at the championships this year and how teams did, Toronto was able to beat Florida, Buffalo, Philadelphia, and then Edmonton in the finals for the Cup. And for the AHL, Coachella Valley went through Henderson, San Jose, Iowa, and then finally Springfield. Birmingham lost to Springfield in the conference finals in 7, so they were right there too, but not quite good enough, as you could see. And looking at the individual awards this year, Draisaitl would win the Art Ross as well as the Hart. Bouchard would get another, or I don't know if it's another, but he would get the Norris this year. Kaprizov would get the Lady Byng. The other Kirill would win the Calder this year. Willie Nylander would get the Conn Smythe. Vasilevsky with the Vezina. Vitali with the Jennings. Peak with the Masterton. DeMello, or Pittsburgh's coach, with the Adams. Marco Rossi with back-to-back Selkies. Draisaitl with the Lindsay. And Khalil Osborne with the Rocket. And for the AHL, I don't think we had any awards. Doesn't look like it. Yeah, okay. So, yeah, pretty average season overall here. Hopefully we'll get some good players in the upcoming draft. This year we do actually have quite a few players expiring contract-wise. We will have to sign Kondratiev, but overall the main guy that we need to sign in our team this year for expiring deals is Matthias Stromberg. And he wants a chunk of money. He's actually not asking for too much based on his production so far. 62 points this year was a down year for him, which is too bad because, he is probably a 70 to 80 point player on most years. So, yeah, we are going to offer him what is probably going to be a little bit of a low ball. Like 11.3 million is a lot to ask for, but at the same time, at 85% of that, that's still like... It's still a $9.65 million contract, which is a good chunk of money. He's playing in our top 6. So, yeah, we'll offer him that. But overall, I don't feel like I'm overpaying Stromberg with that price, and I'll be okay with that. So, yeah, if we get Stromberg for 9.65, the only other guys we really need to sign here are guys like Lavalley and such. So, hopefully Kenny Lavalley will sign for the really cheap 3-year deal. I want to see if we can get Sergei Zykov for real cheap too. Literally 1.5 million for the next 8 years for Zykov would be a massively good contract. It'd be a huge win for our team. So yeah, we'll try that. The rest of these guys here, Ornstrom and such, I really want to try to sign them as long as we can. If we can't, it is what it is, but really there are only a handful of guys that have a chance of making our team, and those are a couple of them. So yeah, at this point, that's pretty much it for contracts we're going to offer at the moment. If we can try to keep guys as low as possible on contract prices, then that's better, but we'll see what happens. So anyways, guys, that is where we are going to wrap this episode up. Next episode, we will be getting to the draft where, hopefully we can land a couple of these guys. There are a lot of good-looking prospects here in this upcoming draft. So yeah, it's literally just a matter of getting our hands on enough of these guys that and actually developing them properly, that they turn out and become supporting cast to the main core of this team that we already have in Atlanta. So anyways, guys, that's where we're going to wrap this one up. If you enjoyed, show your support down below and leave comments, but that is going to be it for me. This is Etanio signing out, and until next time.